So Pocahontas was at it again today. Elizabeth Warren, who's still running for president, even though Trump and herself, I guess you could blame, have pretty much destroyed any chance she has of winning. Once you're named Pocahontas, it's really hard to come back from that. So she's arguing that she wants to get rid of the electoral college. I was reading the New York Times article just now about it. She also said in this speech, because she's clearly pandering for votes, that she'll be removing Confederate statues and creating a national commission to study reparations for Black Americans. Just, she wants to be your mommy, I guess you could say. I was going to come on here and just rip her to shreds about why, getting rid of the college is ridiculous and moving to what she wants, of course, every one vote, one person, full-on democracy, which is just mob rule. I'm scrolling down through the article, and she actually explains why. And she has the complete opposite, rationalization than I thought she would have. So what she says is, we must protect the right of every vote of every American citizen and make sure it's counted. And she noted that most presidential candidates never campaign in Mississippi or her home state of Massachusetts during a general election because those are not battleground states in the electoral college. That is a hilarious statement, because what she wants to move to is a full-on person-for-person democracy mob rule system. So all the population centers will then become the only place that anybody focuses on. Most population centers, especially on the coast, lean Democrat. I know this. Most of you people knew that. When I said it, your mind went there. But this is the argument that we have. And when we put that out there, when I say we, I just mean rational human beings. I don't mean left or right. The response you get from people that are for this removal of the college and go to a peer, a one person, one vote, there's no republic at all left. 51% can completely rule the 49%, screw their, individual rights. And we all know that they understand what we're saying. They know what we're pointing out is correct, that getting rid of the college and making it direct democracy will lead to the majority dominating the minority. They know that. They happen to think and know that they are the majority through popular vote statistics, and they're okay with that. They won't admit any of this because they're cowards. I use that word, and I mean it. And the reason I get upset and I say things like that, to even people that I might know who, will say, well, the college is unfair, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it's unfair. Why? It's unfair because you lost because of it. And what would have happened if you won? You would want to implement reforms and changes on a grand scale that will affect over 400 million people at this point. Beliefs be damned, right? Each individual in your system doesn't matter. It's the collective. Now, I'm not saying the Republic and the college are perfect, but the premise and the idea is to protect the individual rights of every individual, even the people that you disagree with. And to be against that, I'm sorry, it puts you at odds with what I think are peaceful people. Peaceful people that are not authoritarians and don't think that just because they believe something, even if they're right, they do not, and I don't believe this, I don't believe that I have the power or my ego isn't big enough, or, I don't have the moral authority to get up and tell somebody how to live their life. Or you need to chip in more to society, aka pay more taxes. or coal is bad and it harms the environment, so we're going to outlaw it, even though it keeps your family warm and it's a job for you. We don't care, because over here, 2,000 miles away, in a city, usually, where there's no nature, we think this is the way you should live. I'm not going to get into the gun debate, but with the New Zealand shooting, you're seeing that where people are saying we're not doing anything. So because you believe that banning guns is right, we should ban guns. Fuck the people who are law-abiding citizens who would never hurt anybody, who protect people with the guns, protect themselves with the guns, and can actually read statistics and will have a rational discussion with you. You'd rather just shut them down. We're seeing it with speech, where I think what you say is racist, or I think you're a Nazi, even though I have no evidence that you actually agree with the Socialist National Party of Germany in circa 1935, let's say. I'm just going to call you a Nazi. We need to ban Nazis. So I think... Now, I'm not saying people on the other side of the argument don't have these feelings. It's a human condition to have these feelings. You know what? You hear people say, we should bury them under the prison. That's an opinion. Well, who do you think we should bury under the prison, and who's we? Should we dictate that the government come in and bury the man under the prison? Or is that just something you're saying? Now, I say that about groups, not racial groups, but like for example, pedophiles. I think they should be buried under the prison. I don't think we should we should sign a law that the SWAT team hunts down people that we just call pedophiles, even though we have no evidence, and just bury them under the prison, much like I'm not for people just saying racist or Nazi or Clinton supporter or Trump supporter, because every individual has rights, and that's who we're supposed to be protected. This is kind of a tangent, and it kind of goes into my other video, so I might just merge them together. But to me, it all connects. It's the idea of how do I get around these rules that were put in place to protect everybody's rights, so I can inflict my views and values and morality on everybody. And I'm not going to do it personally. I'm not going to go and to someone's house and knock on the door and tell them they have to live this way. I'm going to get the state to do it for them, which is just men with guns or the threat of violence. And that's another thing they'll roll their eyes at, the authoritarians, when you bring that up, because they don't believe the state. The state is society in their idea. So if you don't give to society, you're the immoral person, even though what they're doing is morality through force. They're not convincing you of an argument, they're just forcing it down your throat. And that's kind of why I'm for the college, for what it is. And even though I kind of just vote to keep things afloat, I don't vote for any of the presidential candidates. I vote on the ballot questions to make sure that New Jersey is not taking any more of my money. So I was going to do a separate video about this, but I think I'll just rope them in. So I was watching or reading Zero Hedge this morning. Now, I did a video about Zero Hedge being banned from Facebook for no apparent reason, and the backlash from that, and how they didn't break any rules and they just get banned. So after the Christchurch shooting, I guess the video was put up on Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge covered the story in live, and I always go there. They have resources and sources from all over the place, and it's just a good place to track the story. Instead of doing multiple posts, they update the same post with updates, and they provide links to everywhere. So, of course, they were shut down and banned in New Zealand and Australia. And connected to that, you have Twitter coming out and admitting that they shadow banned. And who did they shadow ban? They shadow banned a tweet from the founder of I guess the Federalist, which is an online publication, where he just pointed out that Lisa Page, if you don't know who Lisa Page is, she's one of the FBI agents who was assigned to the collusion investigation against Trump. And, within documents, it was revealed that, it was actually her testimony. So the release of her documents of her testimony revealed that the Hillary campaign, and we know this from the Steele dossier and following how that was created, and this is kind of a joke, but the Hillary campaign actually conspired with a foreign agent to collect, who used assistance from Russians to collect information on Donald Trump. That was all that was pointed out in the tweet, that what Trump's being investigated for in terms of the Tower meeting with Don Jr., Hillary Clinton's campaign already did. I mean, that's evidence. You can't argue that. I mean, you could just ignore it, but that's the thing that happened. So he posted that as a tweet, and Twitter now admits that they shadow banned his tweet because they wanted to keep people safe. That was their theory, sorry. Keep people safe. So these are views you're not supposed to have in their mind. And we're going to put roadblocks in the way to allow for you to have that speech and to have a discussion. So instead of having a debate and trying to win the argument, it's the same thing as getting rid of the college. What sideways shortcut can I find to shut you down, my opponent, and make it so I sound like the only voice in the room, and then the lemmings will follow me? It's a tactic. It's a radical tactic. It's not foreign to America. It's been used before here. It's not new. It's just they're using morality this time, and it's scary. So I just say, free speech is being attacked, and not just free speech, just the rights of the individual are being attacked. And the right does it. There's authoritarians on the right and there's authoritarians on the left. It's just people who are statists and people who aren't, and people who they put their national unity in the collective and the state, not the way I look at national unity, which is every individual living here in America has the rights to live free the way they wish without interference from their neighbor, even if their neighbor hates them. If you live next door to a creationist, you don't have any right to go into the state and try to get something passed to hurt that person or change that person's views. You don't have the right. You're just a person. You're not that important. I hear things about, if someone's so racist and they're out there in the street saying racist things, you just have to, we got to snuff him out. Like, really? Snuff him out. Guys, a person is saying words and your response is, we just need to beat them. Okay, let's say you and me agree. So people all the way on the right and all the people all the way on the left agree that one person is a racist Nazi man, and he's standing in the street and he's saying racist Nazi thoughts, okay? The split now is, can we just punch him in the face even though he's done nothing violent at all? Now, is he inciting violence? Is he actually reciting a Hitler speech? Well, then you still don't have the right to hit him. But you could argue in court he's a public nuisance. But if some guy just has views, that you read his views online, let's say, and he's walking to Starbucks, and I don't agree with his views, and you don't agree with his views, and we don't agree on anything except that, I'm not going to hit that guy in the head. I might, crack a joke at his expense or something, but he's not doing anything at that point to harm other people. And if you hit that man because you think he's racist, then anybody can hit anybody that they think is racist. And then the word racist gets power behind it. And that's what we have with Nazi now. Remember, anybody that was a Donald Trump supporter was a Nazi. So people could just go out with bike locks and punch Donald Trump supporters in the face. You wear a hat, you can just punch people in the face because you know what? We got to stamp out this racism. Is there any evidence that that person is racist? No. It makes these people feel better, and they're goons. That's a goon maneuver, and I'm just not for it. And I see that in Elizabeth Warren, and I see that in Twitter, and I see that just in people who do not want to have a debate with the other side. And I'm sorry, right now the other side is not the right. It's the non-statist. I don't even want to say non-statist because you could have a progressive like a Jimmy Dore, he loves the state. He wants the government to expand its power over economics and healthcare and all that stuff. But personally, I don't believe that he thinks that you should shut down other people's beliefs. Also, he's not. They're attacking him also. So if you're on the free speech side or you just think that we should be able to have these discussions, you're on one side of the argument. Now, I expand my views on not involving the state past to everything. The way a person uses their money, the way their spending habits, do they get insurance, do they not get insurance, how do they raise their kids, what do they educate their kids with? None of this is you don't have a right to dictate that. You don't. Now, if you say society has to deal with, then get society to deal with it. Society is not the government. The government is power and it's force. If you can't, as society, convince everybody else of your views, then maybe society is not ready for it. The culture is not there yet. The state is just a vehicle that can be used by the corrupt. And right now, the corrupt that are using it is these SJWs. They're trying to shut down the state through authoritarian means. Shut down people with the state through authoritarian means. And a quick way to do that is get rid of the electoral college. I love how she said, people wouldn't campaign in Massachusetts. They would too, because Boston then becomes somewhere you want to go, and nobody wants to go to Iowa. There's no reason to go to New Hampshire. And you don't think the people in New Hampshire have a say in how the country should be run, or Iowa? If you're going to have this large federal government where we all have to live underneath it, you don't think we all should have a say? And if someone's going to say you should have an individual vote. No. If there's one guy in Wyoming who just lives in his house, doesn't do anything wrong, and 60 million people in California decide we need to pass a law and that negatively affects that guy when he didn't do anything. It costs him thousands of dollars, or he has to sell his house, or you dictate how he can use his land that he paid for, or he's not allowed to have products in his house, or he has to buy health insurance. You're violating his rights. See how that works? Okay, so I want to end there, but that was my rant just about the things I saw today, the headlines, and they kind of bled into each other. So instead of 2 videos, we have 1, but it's on the topic of just authoritarianism. Trying to crush the debate and just make your side be the only side that is allowed to speak or win an election. So until next time, thanks for tuning in. Check out our YouTube channel, Decentralized Truth, the podcast. So Decentralized Truth podcast on YouTube. You can type in Information War. It comes up. Check us on Steemit, decentralizedtruth.net. We have shows. There's one actually going on right now, Tuesday night. Thursday night we have one. They're all streamed live on YouTube. And then on Saturdays we have one between, I think, 6 and 8 p.m. Last week was 7 to 9. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I believe, start at 8. We do 8 to 9, just an hour. So feel free to tune in, and we'll have more videos this week. So thank you guys.